Okay, so picture this. It's July 1932, Evanston, Illinois. You're at the AAU Championships. This is basically the Olympic trials for the U.S.
Big one.
Right. And you see all these teams arriving. You've got the Illinois Women's Athletic Club with like a whole busload of athletes, squads with coaches, trainers, the whole 9 yards.
And then, standing there on the grass, is the team for the Employers Casualty Insurance Company of Dallas.
And if you're looking for the rest of that team, well,
You'd be looking for a while.
because it's one person, a 21-year-old named Babe Didrikson.
Yeah, and secretary was her official job title.
Yeah.
That was really just to keep her amateur status.
Ah, okay.
In reality, she was an industrial league basketball star.
Yeah.
But yeah, she walks into this huge national championship by herself.
The story goes that an official asked where the rest of her team was.
And she supposedly just said, I am the team.
Which, I mean, that sounds like a line somebody wrote for a movie decades later.
It does, but you look at the score sheet and it completely backs it up.
It's unbelievable.
She didn't just show up for one race. She entered 8 of the 10 events. So you have to imagine her just running from the javelin pit over to the hurdles, then to the high jump.
And at the end of the day, the Illinois club, with all their athletes, scored 22 points.
Babe Didrikson scored 30. All by herself, she won the entire national team championship alone.
That's the level of, I don't know, dominance I want to dig into today. We throw around the phrase greatest of all time a lot, from Michael Jordan, Serena Williams.
Sure.
But when you look at the life of Babe Didrikson Zaharias, it makes you wonder if we're even asking the right question. Those legends dominated one sport.
And she dominated, what, 3?
Yeah.
All-American in basketball, multiple Olympic goals in track and field, and then she completely reinvented herself and became one of the greatest golfers of all time.
Not to mention, she was a sewing champion and recorded songs. It sounds made up.
Well, and it wasn't just that she won. You have to understand the context. She shattered what people in the 30s and 40s thought a woman could or should be.
Okay, let's look at the 32 Olympics in Los Angeles, because that's when she really just exploded onto the world scene.
It's amazing. She actually qualified for 5 different events.
5.
Yeah. But the rules back then, for women, only allowed them to compete in 3.
That's a shame in itself.
It is. So she had to choose. She picked the javelin, the 80-meter hurdles, and the high jump.
And immediately wins gold in the javelin.
Right away. Sets an Olympic record. Then she goes to the hurdles, which is such a technical event. One tiny mistake, and you're done.
And she doesn't just win.
No. She breaks her own world record in the final. 11.7 seconds. Just, another day at the office for her.
But then comes the high jump. This is where we get the only blemish on her record, if you can call a silver medal that.
It was a huge controversy. She actually cleared the exact same height as the gold medalist, Jean Shiley. They both set a new world record.
So why silver?
The judges. They didn't like her technique. She went over the bar head first.
The Fosbury flop, basically. Or a precursor to it.
Exactly. But in 1932, the rules were very strict. You had to go over feet first. They considered her style a dive, not a jump. So even though she cleared the height, they knocked her down to silver.
It's just wild that she was so far ahead of her time that the rules hadn't even caught up to her.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, while we're on the 32 team, our sources mention a much darker side to this story. There was an incident on the train out to L.A.
Yes. This is an important part of her story. The team included 2 African-American women, Tidie Pickett and Louise Stokes.
Which was a big deal at the time.
A huge deal. But the environment wasn't welcoming. Accounts from the time report that on the train, Babe threw a pitcher of ice water on Pickett and Stokes.
Was it a prank or was it malicious?
The historical record suggests it was racially motivated. Babe was known for being brash, but she had also apparently said she didn't think black athletes should be on the team.
Wow.
And later, Pickett and Stokes were both pulled from the relay team. They were replaced by 2 white runners who were actually slower.
It's a really stark reminder that, being a sports hero doesn't automatically make you a moral one.
No. And it frames who she was. She was a product of a segregated Texas in that era.
Yeah.
But it also speaks to her intense individualism. She wasn't a teammate. She was a solo act, always.
Right. She saw everyone as competition.
Exactly. And that probably fueled her, but it also made her a pretty difficult and lonely figure after the cheering stopped.
So the Olympics end. She's now the famous Wonder Girl, but it's 1932. We're deep in the Great Depression. There's no pro track circuit for women. What does she even do?
She hustles. I mean, that's the only word for it. She
Yeah.
tours the country playing billiards exhibitions. She had a barnstorming basketball team called Babe Didrikson's All-Americans.
Was she the only woman on it?
She was the only woman on the court playing against men. And then there was baseball.
Okay, this part blows my mind, because usually this is a publicity stunt.
Right. They swing and miss a few times for the cameras.
Yeah, but the box scores here say something totally different.
Oh, it was not a stunt. She pitched in actual Major League spring training games.
Yeah.
In 1934, she pitched an inning for the Philadelphia Athletics against the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Against real major leaguers.
Real major leaguers. She gave up no hits, he walked one batter, and then she started a triple play to end the inning.
A triple play against the Dodgers.
A few days after that,
Yeah.
she pitched for the Cardinals against the Red Sox. Gave up a few runs in that one. But she got the final out when a batter flew out to Joe Medwick in left field, a future Hall of Famer.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the physics of it all. What allows one person to be elite at so many different motions?
Okay, so this is the key. It's not magic. It's the kinetic chain.
Explain that.
Think about throwing a javelin. The power doesn't come from your arm. It comes from your hips. You plant your foot, you rotate your hips with incredible speed, and your arm is just the end of the whip.
Okay, I can picture that.
That explosive hip rotation, that's the engine. And that exact same mechanical motion is the core of a powerful golf swing.
So when she finally picks up a golf club around 1935,
She wasn't really starting from scratch. She was a latecomer to the sport, in her mid-20s. But she already had the engine. She just had to learn how to aim it.
which explains that famous quote from Byron Nelson, one of the all-time greats in men's golf.
That he only knew 8 men who could hit a golf ball farther than her. And he wasn't exaggerating.
She even played against the men, right? In PGA events.
Yes. In 1938, she played in the LA Open. No woman did that again for decades, until Annika Sorenstam.
But her peak year against the men was 1945.
That's the one. She played in 3 PGA tournaments, and she made the 36-hole cut in 2 of them. To this day, she is the only woman who has ever made the cut in a regular PGA Tour event.
That one stat, I mean, that feels like it should just end any debate.
It's the ultimate proof.
Yeah.
But you can imagine in 1945 how that went over. A woman out driving the men wearing trousers, being loud and competitive.
The media coverage from that time it's rough to read. They called her a muscle mall.
The press just didn't know what to do with her. Thinking was that sports were masculine. So if a woman was too good at them, there was this anxiety that she was somehow becoming a man.
They wrote columns telling her to go home and get prettied up.
It was constant. It clearly affected her because in the late 30s, you see this conscious shift. She tries to soften her image. She starts wearing skirts on the golf course.
And she gets married.
To George Zaharias, a pro wrestler called the Crying Greek from Cripple Creek. It was a very public marriage. It was her way of signaling to the world, see, I am a normal woman. I have a husband.
But her private life, especially later, was a lot more complicated than that.
Much more complicated.
Yeah.
In 1950, she met a young golfer on the tour named Betty Dodd. They became inseparable. And eventually Betty Dodd moved in with Babe and George.
For the last 6 years of Babe's life, right?
That's right. And by all accounts from friends and biographers, it was a romantic relationship. They didn't use the word lesbian back then. It just wasn't part of the public vocabulary. But it's clear they were partners.
So she's navigating this incredible public career while also having to hide this essential part of her private life.
A huge pressure.
Yeah.
But on the course, she's unstoppable. She helps found the LPGA in 1950. She wins the Grand Slam, all 3 majors that existed at the time. She is, without a doubt, on top of the world.
And then in 1953, the diagnosis?
Yeah. She'd been feeling tired, went to the doctor. It was colon cancer. And in the 50s, that diagnosis was basically a death sentence.
The surgery she had was a colostomy. I think for a golfer, that's just, I can't even imagine.
No, they remove part of your intestine and create an opening in your abdomen. You have to wear a bag.
Yeah.
Now think about that violent twisting golf swing we just talked about.
Right.
Her abdominal muscles had just been sliced through. Most people would just retire, be thankful to be alive.
But not her.
Not even close. She was out of the hospital and practicing within a few months.
Which brings us to the 1954 U.S. Women's Open. This moment, to me, is what elevates her beyond just a great athlete into something almost mythical.
It's the Peabody Country Club in Massachusetts. It's incredibly hot. Babe is wearing this heavy corset to protect herself and hold the colostomy bag in place. She's in constant pain.
And she doesn't just manage to finish the tournament.
She doesn't just win. She destroys the field. She wins by 12 strokes.
12 strokes. Less than a year after that surgery.
It's physically incomprehensible. And that was the year she finally seemed to let that individualistic armor down. She told the press she wasn't just playing for herself anymore, but for everyone in hospitals.
It was a beautiful comeback story, but it was a short one.
Very short. The cancer came back. She died in 1956. She was only 45 years old.
When you look back, it feels like we're looking at a mythological figure. But it makes me wonder, if Babe Zaharias was born in, say, 2005 instead of 1911, what would happen?
And that's the great paradox of her story, isn't it?
How so?
If she's born today, a coach sees her raw talent at age 8. She gets put into an elite track program. She spends the next 15 years perfecting her hurdle technique. She wins an Olympic gold, gets a huge shoe deal, and has a fantastic career.
Yes.
But she probably never plays basketball at high level. She definitely never pitches against the Dodgers. And she almost certainly never even picks up a golf club.
So the modern sports machine, which is built to create these perfect specialists,
It would actually prevent a Babe Zaharias from ever existing. We've optimized sports to the point where that kind of Renaissance athlete is basically extinct.
she wasn't just a unicorn, she was maybe the last of her kind.
I think so. A true one of a kind.
A good thing to think about next time you watch an athlete who is the best in the world at just one thing. Remember the woman who is the best at everything she tried? Thanks for digging into this with us.
My pleasure.
We'll be back with another depth dive soon.